Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jessica and I create content about all kinds of things, but it almost always centers the Black American experience. And that is exactly what I'm doing today. You see the title. We should be giving the Black grassroots media their flowers. And I'm about to tell you why.
Yeah, I'm in the sun, somewhere chilling and minding my business. I'm in the sun, feeling emotional, hiding my feelings.
Here's why. We are seeing the results of the work that they have put in for the last decade or more in real time in living color. We are seeing those results. We're seeing it. We are seeing the influence that they have built. And we're talking before it was popular to do this. We're talking before mainstream media news anchors were able to come to YouTube with their already built-in audiences. We're talking before that. We're seeing the work that those grassroots media creators put in real time. This is why they deserve their flowers. They single-handedly changed the political discourse and the cultural discourse among Black Americans and about Black Americans. And this is something that I know to be a fact when I think about my college years and when we had Obama Rama. I have a picture to prove how I was so excited about Barack Obama since being exposed to Black grassroots media. I've seen the shift in me, but I've also seen the shift around me, not just online, but in real life of the conversations that people are having, the way people are thinking about the issues of Black people. That is because of the Black grassroots media. So give them their flowers now. I want you to be clear that there is a distinction. I'm not talking about somebody who was a mainstream media commentator, news anchor. I'm not talking about them. They are not the same. I'm going to do a video later sharing my favorites and why. And some of my favorites don't agree with each other. But there's also the beauty of it because at the end of the day, the Black grassroots media is about Black Americans. It's about our agenda, what we should be concerned about. And it's legit. It's legit because we see the evidence all around us. We see it happening in real time and we can point to the facts. Before I get ahead of myself, in full disclosure, I am a media girl. So I have a professional background in media. I have worked in media since I got out of college. Is what I do, is what I love. It is my passion. I would do it in my sleep. Matter of fact, I would not sleep and just make content and work on media related stuff for 24 hours a day if I could. Like, that's how much I love it. So I've always been someone who has been tapped into like social media, YouTube, that kind of stuff. But when I became, what's the word? When I got introduced to the Black grassroots and media, it changed my life, changed everything that I thought I knew. And it happened at a time where I think a lot of people were looking for something, kind of going through the same thing, and our eyes were just being opened. We didn't even know like what was on the horizon, but it was almost as if it was God, like for me at least, God like preparing me, right? I was introduced to the Black grassroots media when Joe Biden was running for president. This was like right around the window of time when George Floyd died. Not quite pandemic time, but it was around that time before Joe Biden became president. I came across TD Hip Hop Media. I believe he's changed his name since then, but it was at that time, I think, like TD Hip Hop. And he had put out some content about Joe Biden and was basically showing his resume, right? Showing Biden's true legacy, and something switched. I'm like, wait a minute. This the man that did, like, I was so politically ignorant, um, college educated, involved in politics, or so I thought, had my stance and my beliefs. And this was information that I did not know. And I was learning it for the first time through Black independent media creators. And so that's kind of where it started for me. If y'all are interested in hearing my story and my journey, I'll be happy to share that, but it's going to have to be by request because I've talked about it because it was kind of intertwined with my spiritual journey. It was just a crazy, crazy time period. And I have talked about that before, but I haven't really talked about like politically how I've changed over the years since taking a break and coming back to create content. But there was around the time that I became introduced to the grassroots media, and it has had an extremely positive impact on my life, personally, spiritually, politically, the way I view history, the way I feel about being Black, my passion and my own political agenda, what I would like to see happen for the Black community. And it even like put into context some of the experience that I've had in my life working in certain places, being around certain people, knowledge, like things like that, things that I experienced, things that I saw that I did not quite understand that I understand now. And I have the Black grassroots media to thank for that. And again, I want to stress that I'm talking about people who are not affiliated with a party. They don't have a background in politics, but they are everyday people who picked up a microphone, picked up a computer or a camera, and created content about the Black community. Here's how I know that the work that they're putting in, we're seeing the results for, and why I am saying that they have changed our discourse among Black Americans and about Black Americans. So number one, delineation has the diaspora in shambles. So delineation, number one, is one of the things. And there was something, like I said, before I was introduced to Black media, Black independent media, I didn't even really think about the fact that Black Americans are unique. Like, I knew that we have our culture. I knew those things. Like, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is I viewed all Black people the same. And the more that you learn about history, the more that you look at the facts and the numbers, the chain of events, you see how unique our experience is, even when it's a person of our same color, right? Like, even if it's a Black facing person, somebody who looks Black, when you will talk to them and you see, oh, they're Black, but they not Black like me. They can't relate to this, they don't have a claim to this, not to say we don't love them and not to say that we aren't all, sharing a ancestor somewhere, right? But our experiences are different. Our experiences to this day are different. Like, there is a distinction. You really did not see delineation talked about among regular folks. Like, this is a conversation that has spilled over into other spaces. Take a shot every time I say Black grassroots media. But because I believe the Black grassroots media has made a point to let Black Americans know, like, no, you have a justice claim. You are dealing with something different. Now, they may have something too, but we're talking about being Black in America, and there's nowhere for us to go and say, hey, that's home, or that's where my mom was from. That's where my grandmama was from. No, all of our people are from here. And that is vastly different from someone who is a first generation American or a second generation American. It's not even the same at all. And there was a point in time where I feel like nobody acknowledged that. There was just like this blanket Blackness. But because of the Black grassroots media, that has become a thing. We're seeing that with Essence. We're seeing that when celebrities are speaking out on our issues or kind of on our behalf, when we look at who's being hired, when we look at all of those things, you see, though, there is a distinction. And it's a consistent distinction on paper, but at face value, you're telling us we're all the same. And it can be confusing. It muddies the waters when you get to redressing some of the things that has happened to the Black American community. And I feel like we have the Black grassroots media to thank for that. In the past, like, if you look at the situation with Essence, let me just say, like, I don't believe in like the diaspora wars. I wouldn't call myself a Pan-Africanist, but I don't have an issue with Pan-Africanists. I don't have an issue with Black immigrants, but I do believe like we Black Americans do have a specific situation that we're dealing with that needs to be addressed. And we cannot address it if we don't make a distinction. Now, some people, they go overboard with that. There have been things that's been said on both sides. And to be honest, and I have worked for a Nigerian, and there's a difference. And there are some beliefs that many of them do come over to America with that negatively impact us. And sometimes they get in the way of the things that we need and the things that we're trying to do to uplift our community. And they make it very clear like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. And this is for my family back here. This is for my family back there. You know, it was never a problem until Black folks started to say, yeah, we are different. Then it became a problem. And it kind of goes into like the way that Black people are being characterized as xenophobic now. Like we've never been called it before, but the moment we try to take our and act on our agency and say, hey, we're different. What we're dealing with is different. We have different demands from you. We have different priorities, and we would like if you don't muddy the waters and cause a lot of confusion and distract from what we're trying to do and what we're trying to get for our people. Also, the talk about reparations is due to the Black grassroots media. Every single Black grassroots media, take your shot, creator that I follow believes in reparations, supports reparations, and keeps it as a talking point. It is issue number one. They do not deflect from that. I believe that is what has contributed to reparations being talked about at such a grand scale. That's something that Black folks would laugh at, you know, but here we are. We have a whole community of people who are empowered to speak about reparations and make the demand that that debt be paid. You kind of see like people who are, you know, truly baffled by these conversations that are being had because it's so new to them. And I think too, like it's causing a lot of folks who would normally be talking so Black and talking about these Black issues to kind of be more vocal about it because they want to either counter something that's coming from the Black grassroots media side, or they're adding to the dialogue because now they have a point of reference, something that they can truly identify with because their issue has been pushed to the forefront because of Black grassroots media. And I also want to add that mainstream media and like your Democrat loyal creators talk to their audiences from a place of fear. It's very, very fear mongering. You know, you will be broke. You wrote your obituary. You are gonna be absolutely, very, very fear mongering to people who choose to dream of life another way. And Black grassroots media comes from a very empowering approach because they're showing you the facts, the numbers, the people on the ground that are in these communities. And you see the evidence and you cannot argue with evidence. You either double down and rebel, and at that point you're being anti-Black, or you say, you know what? You changed my mind. And for me, immigration was one of those issues. Again, I didn't have an opinion about immigration for real until I saw this impact, till I read the studies, till I'm looking at the data. A creator that I watch, and I'm not really a big fan of his content, but he talks about the things that I'm interested in. And you know how sometimes you just gotta go to that person because they're the only one talking about it. It's kind of like that. But I was looking at his video and there was this guy, he's criticizing, Black Americans for wanting to close the borders. And I've even had a back and forth with a colleague over this topic, but the Black grassroots media kind of helped me see immigration from a different lens because they're focusing on those stories that the mainstream media is not telling you because it does not support the agenda that they want to promote. And it's as simple as that. Like agenda has become a buzzword and propaganda and all these things have become buzzwords. But as someone who is an expert and who is a true student of media, agenda setting is real. The one of the primary functions of mainstream media is to set the agenda of what everyone's talking about. They set the agenda, they frame it in the way that they want it to be viewed. They prime you for all of it. They're priming you over time with things to bring in whatever it is that is setting the agenda for the day, that week, or whatever. That is literally how it works. Look it up. Those are real media theories. So you have to have something to combat that because you know the type of country that we live in. You know our position in this country. So the Black grassroots media fills that void. So yeah, I just wanted to say you should really just look around, look at the conversations people are having. Look at the conversations that are having about Black people, how the tide shifted with the Democrat Party. You can feel how you want to feel about the election, I mean, about Donald Trump. But the fact of the matter is, Black folks weren't getting nothing anyway. We were getting band-aids on open surgery wounds. Like we weren't getting anything anyway. And you do have a group of people who are like, look, I've been fighting for this for my people. This has been our demand. You continue to ignore us. You continue to install politicians who are sabotaging us. So if we don't get nothing and we're the most deserving, don't nobody get nothing. You have some people who feel like that. And can you blame them? You know, so you saw that tide shift. You saw the loyalty shift. You're seeing it in real time shift. And folks are trying to understand it. And all I can say is watch some grassroots Black media. Take another shot. Watch them, and you will see why things are changing. They have been putting this message out is in the last 5 years that I've been watching, and I'm seeing that it's working. And so they're only going to gain more and more influence. And that's why it kind of feels like, and this is a sidebar, but it's so much stuff coming to a head in America. It's so many topics coming to a head. It's so many issues that are just boiling over. And like, I don't know what the next couple years looks like. Like, it's like, I truly don't know. All I can do is pray. But like, things are gonna continue to get crazy. Stuff is crazy right now. So if I were you, if you are a Black person, a Black American, and you truly want to learn about what's going on with our community politically, get engaged with some Black grassroots media. They're gonna take you beyond the headlines. They're going to show you the stories that have been buried, and it will really, really empower you to begin thinking critically, having your own mind and opinion, and voting for your best interest, not doing something because it's always been done and it's still not getting you anywhere. So that's my thoughts. That's my case. Let me know if y'all agree with me in the comments. Do you think we should be giving the Black grassroots media their flowers? Do you think that they're the reason behind this shift that we're seeing in discourse among Black Americans and about Black Americans in the media and online? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to support my content financially, head on over to Patreon. All the information is in the description box. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.